Now, all the talk so far ahead of Game Week 6 has been about wildcarding, but I've had a few messages from people using their free hit instead in Game Week 6, and if you're one of those managers, well, I've got a draft for you. Just very briefly before I get into the draft, all of the expected points data and AI rating you'll see at the end for this team is courtesy of Fantasy Football Hub. If you want to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub yourself, link at the top of the description will get you 50% off, and Fantasy Football Hub will refund you your money if you don't win your mini league this season. All right, I'll be honest, I'm going to canter through this free hit team relatively quickly because number one, it's for 1 week, so you don't really need to pick with too much logic. You just need to have Game Week 6 in mind. And number two, honestly, don't have too much time to make this video. So I've done my best to try and accommodate for this video request. In goal, I think Vicario is probably the standout goalkeeper. I look at that Wolves at home fixture, and I think Spurs have got a reasonable chance for clean sheet. I think they're much more solid defensively under Thomas Frank. And I just look at all the goalkeepers, people on their wildcards playing David Raya, which I think for the long run makes sense. But he's got Newcastle at St James's Park in Game Week 6. And there's a good chance, I think, that Newcastle could score in that game, particularly considering they've got a centre forward now. So yeah, I think Vicario against Wolves, who have been fairly poor, to be honest, in the Premier League, I think he's a good shout. Tarkowski, he's got West Ham at home. I think Graham Potter's got this game to potentially save his job, but I don't think the team are really playing for him anymore. I mean, West Ham look pretty much hopeless, don't they? So he should get hopefully get a clean sheet in that game. And also, we all know he can get DEFCON points too. So I like James Tarkowski, and I think he's a good shout for this week. Now, the middle defender here, I've put Cucurella in here because, wow, the other option you could have is Romero. Now, according to Fantasy Football Hub, Romero's expected points are actually higher than Cucurella's, but I like the idea of spreading my risk around a little bit. And I have a feeling that Chelsea do quite well against Brighton. But if you don't fancy Cucurella, I think Romero is a perfectly decent option. I'm just looking at the clean sheet odds and the projections and stuff, and Chelsea feature quite high. It'd be just good to have a slice of the Chelsea defence. But if you don't want to spread your risk around, then definitely go for Romero if you do fancy that Tottenham defence. Senesi has been, I think, one of the best defenders in the game this season. DEFCON in every game, and he's got Leeds away as his fixture. Bournemouth, I think, look pretty good defensively as well. I wouldn't, rule out the chance of him keeping a clean sheet in that game either. So yeah, Leeds away for Senesi. DEFCON every game, decent chance for clean sheet. I think that's a decent back four. On your bench, I mean, free hit benches don't really matter. I've gone for Dubravka, Anderson, Estev, and Barnes, just so this team is affordable. Depending on how much budget you have left to play around with, you might be able to upgrade some of these positions yourself, which you can do at your own leisure. But this free hit is really focused on the starting 11, because ultimately, if you're having to go to your bench on a free hit, I think you've done something wrong. But I think that bench is fairly good. Midfield, I've gone for a midfield 5 of Semenyo, Foden, Fernandes, Reinders, and Njai. I think one of the key decisions I've made in my personal free hit team is I've gone for double Man City midfield. Obviously, Haaland's going to be in this team, rather than a Man City defender. I mean, you could have Donnarumma in goal, you could have Guardiola in your defence, but I just think if you're on your free hit, you want to, I think, take real advantage over those wild card users or general players of the game who aren't. I just think the best way you do that is rather than have a Man City defender just max out on their attack. Semenyo, I think, has been obviously one of the best players in the game. He plays a promoted team away from home. Good fixture. Happy to have him on a free hit team. Same with Bruno. He's really popular in the game at the moment for good reason, and I think the Brentford fixture is good. Iliman Ndiaye looks really good for both DEFCON. He's got 3 attacking returns in 5 games for Everton, and he's their penalty taker. And they've got West Ham at home. I just think ticks all the boxes of a good fixture and a good player for this week. Even though he's the consensus pick on a wild card, I think he's the consensus pick on a free hit draft too. Reinders and Foden, I think these two are going to start for Man City. I think if you're on your free hit, I like the idea of having Foden because I don't think many people are going to own him in the game because I don't think too many are convinced by him as like a long-term option. I'm certainly not. I've not picked him in my wildcard teams. But for a free hit in Game Week 6, I think there's a good chance he plays. He's been playing well when he does play. And they got Burnley. This is the best fixture I've seen in terms of all the projections for like projected goals, which suggests to me that Man City are going to score a fair few goals. And I think with the amount of injuries they have as well, Man City, the 11 is fairly settled to the point where I think Foden's going to play. Up front to round off the team, it's obviously got Erling Haaland in it. He is, in my mind, if he's fit, the best captain. And that's the question at the moment. Is he fit? Pep Guardiola said in his press conference that he had a recovery day on Tuesday, which I think was the case with the rest of the Man City team as well. Sorry, recovery day on Monday, I think. He hadn't seen the team at the time of his press conference on Tuesday to confirm if he was back. And he was hopeful that Haaland would be back for the weekend. He was obviously subbed off fairly early in the Arsenal game. Well, not early, but earlier than the 90 with a reported back issue. For me, I think he's going to play v Burnley, I'll be honest with you. And with that in mind, I think he's the best captain. You've got to have him. And then I've gone for João Pedro alongside him. Again, if you've got a different preference for a player in this position, then go for it. But I just think against his old club, Brighton are not the best team, I don't think, defensively. It's at home for Chelsea. I think it's plum fixture for him to do something and score a goal. Another player I do like that's not in here as well, particularly with the news that Palmer is going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks, struggling to get the name out, is Enzo Fernandez. But I just couldn't see a way to squeeze him in over one of the... Maybe you could get him in for Reinders and then have an additional Man City defender. Something like that. So yeah, that would probably be my free hit team. Just bear in mind a couple of potential changes I'd make. If you could probably swap out João Pedro, but again, I think he's probably the best forward alongside Haaland for this week. Reinders could become Enzo Fernandez if you fancied it. Cucurella could become a Man City defender as a result. And also, you could get Romero in there as well for Cucurella. I think the budget will allow you to do pretty much all of those moves. I'll just do a quick scores on the door for the team. 65 predicted points according to Fantasy Football Hub and a 98% AI rating. Remember, if you want to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub yourself, use the link at the top of the description below. And yeah, that's the team. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. All right, well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. A quick one. I've run out of time. It's night time here. I'm about to go to bed, but I thought I'd get a video out before I do because I did have a few people asking me for a free hit team. So hopefully you found this useful. If you appreciate it, like I said, please leave me a like rating. Let me know in the comments if you'd make any changes to that team. I think I'm relatively flexible with the picks as well, and I've spoken about my other options too. And yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Goal and Goal channel. Should be just there on your screen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.